This is Mrs. Blankenbeckler talking about lesson 8.02. This first part, I guess this is part one. I'm doing lots of videos today, so I've forgotten what part I'm on. But in the last lesson, we talked about standard form and the root form of a quadratic. Now we're going to look today at vertex form. And hopefully you guys know this form like the back of your head. We have a parentheses x minus h quantity squared plus k. This is the skeleton formula for the vertex form. And it's very, very helpful because we can sing our little song, opposite h and the same as k, to get our vertex. So I've got a couple examples on some paper I want to pop up in front of you. And these are the same ones in the LMS. So it's just kind of walking you through that screen. I think it's like screen 3 or 4 within this first lesson. Okay, the first one we're going to look at is the function 3x minus 4 squared plus 1. Okay, what is a, what is h, and what is k? On this one, stop, pause, or you can just keep rolling. A is 3, h is positive 4, and k is 1. Very good. Okay, now our axis of symmetry, we'll go through x equals 4. That's right. Whatever the x-coordinate is, that's your axis of symmetry. Okay, second one. Negative x plus 7 quantity squared is our function. What is a? Negative 1. That means our parabola faces down. Right, negative means it faces down. What is our h? Inside the bracket, negative 7, isn't it? Negative 7, and there's nothing outside the bracket, so it's 0. So the vertex is negative 7, 0. Okay, what's our axis of symmetry? X equals negative 7. Okay, next one up. A little trickier. Okay, here's our function. Negative 2x squared plus 9, or minus 9. Okay, what's a? You can pause if you need to think. A is negative 2. What's inside the bracket for h? What's inside the squared? Nothing, so it's 0. And k is negative 9. So our vertex is at 0, negative 9. Which way does this face? Up or down? It faces down because a is negative, facing down. Okay. So those are a few of the functions that are in there, and there's one more you can try, which is just the parent function. Okay, now we're going to look at this one. We're going to look at graphing a quadratic given it in vertex form. Okay, what is the best method for graphing this one? Okay, first of all, we are going to decide it's a parent function of the quadratic, right? Because it's x squared. And I'm going to make a little table. So go ahead and decide where is my vertex, which way is it going to face. So let's work through this one. Okay, our problem is negative 2x minus 3 quantity squared plus 1. Okay, the a is negative 2. The h and k are positive 3, positive 1. Okay? So decide that first. We know this is going to be a parabola facing down. Now we're going to go to sketch it. When I go to sketch it, I'm going to plot the point 3, 1 as my vertex. I know it's going to face down, so I should be getting points down here when I do my plugging in. So now I'm going to start plugging in points on either side of this vertex. So this vertex is at 3, positive 1. I'm going to pick points on the left side of this and the right side of it. Actually, the left side of it and the right side of it. So I'm going to plug in a 2 and a 4. And their outputs should be the same because it's symmetrical. So I'm going to go back up here and plug in a 2, and I'm going to plug in a 4. So basically, I'm making a T-table with 3 as the center point. I'm going to pick a 2 and a 4. So let's plug in 2, negative 2, 2 minus 3, squared plus 1. Negative 2 times negative 1 squared. That's positive 1 times negative 2 plus 1. So I get out negative 1. So this one, oh, the vertex is here. I get a negative 1 out. I should get the same thing when I plug in 4. So let's plug in chug. Plug in 4 minus 3 is 1. 1 squared times negative 2 is negative 2. Then I have to add that extra 1, and I get out negative 1. So yes, I'm getting some symmetry here. So I'm going to plot those. 2, negative 1, 4, negative 1. You're going to do the same thing one more time because you got to see how wide that graph is. So I'm going to plot one more point to the left and one more point to the right. So you're going to plug in a 1 and you're going to plug in a 5. And I'm going to let you guys do that. The outputs end up being negative 7 and negative 7. So you come down here, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And notice the graph is pretty skinny. When A is greater than 1, or absolute value of A is greater than 1, it makes it skinnier. And if A is less than 1, or the absolute value is less than 1, it gets wider. So this is a pretty skinny graph. So there's how you graph a quadratic, okay, out of vertex form. First step, identify your vertex. Second step, pick points on either side of that vertex so it makes a symmetric graph. There is another example on this on page 8 of your LMS. Mr. Thomas goes through an example, so if you need to watch another one, stop the video here and go watch it. Okay, that's my first part of this lesson. I kept it under 7 minutes. So come back for the next part.